Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about if you're traveling to India, what are the few things that you should note about taking a local taxi. It could be a small thing, but it makes a lot of difference, especially when you're disembarking from the plane, getting out of the international airport in India. And the first thing you need to do is that take a taxi or take a transport to your place of accommodation. It could be the hotel, it could be a guest house, it could be a lodge, if they haven't arranged for a local transport. I have seen a lot of tourists or a lot of people who come into India, they would try to take a local transport just to get the feel, the vibe. That's absolutely fine. But in this video, I'm just going to talk about few things to note about, especially in terms of taking a taxi transport in India. In most of the cases, whenever you're traveling around India, within the city, outside the city, and especially when you're getting out of the airport, that's the first thing that could come upon you, that what are the local taxi options that is available. First and foremost thing, I am going to look into my notes. So Uber and Ola is widely available in India. So Uber is widely available. The local competition to Uber in India is Ola, O-L-A. Uber and Ola are widely used, very popular. Services are quite good. I have seen the services differ between some cities. The services which you get about Ola and Uber in Bombay could be slightly different, in Delhi could be slightly different, in Calcutta. When I say different, it primarily talks about the condition of the car. As simple as that. It could be very neat and tidy, or it could be a little shabby. But both of them, the Uber and Ola, the taxi aggregator app, is very popular and it's widely used and very reliable also in most cases. Whether it be in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Calcutta, any of the major cities, it's widely available. The other thing is that when you're getting out of the airport, and if you're not going for an Ola or Uber, just as you get out of the airport, you will see that there is a whole bunch of, in most of the international airports, you will see a whole bunch of, I will say, small booths or counters for local transport. It could be the local bus, it could be the local transfer with a taxi, it could be other local options. Now, you may go for it. The only thing is that it's a slightly more expensive, but it's very reliable. Those airport transfers which is there within the airport, those taxi booths which is there, again, it's slightly on the expensive side of it, but it's very reliable. AC, non-AC, bigger ones. If you have a lot of luggage, then you can take some of those bigger cars. They give you those options. That's the other one. The third option is that most of the airports have a prepaid taxi counter. Now, it could be within the airport, or if you step out of the airport, immediately there will be something called a prepaid taxi counter. You can ask the representative at the airport to guide you where the local prepaid taxi counters are. That's one of the other reliable taxi option that you can take. Those are prepaid ones, absolutely fine. Both AC, non-AC. In most cases, it is non-AC that I have seen. These taxis are typically the city local taxi. So if you're going around the city during your stay, you will find these taxis as the option. So this is like the taxi unions and the local taxi association have set up a booth at the airport counters. Also at the railway station, they put up a counter so that it is reliable. Passengers doesn't have to go through a lot of hassle. They could just go in, say where their locations are, and simply you prepaid. You will have an entire taxi, which is an entire taxi line which is there, and then they will take your luggage and they will drop you off. No going here and there. They will not take you around the city, won't charge you extra. It's all prepaid. It's pretty reliable. Again, in most of the cases, it is pretty reliable. As it happens in every country, as it happens every time you travel, travel is part of an adventure, travel is part of an experience. You don't want to get into bad adventures, you don't want to get into bad experience, but there is always that percentage, a very small percentage chances that you may have a different kind of an experience, maybe a little unpleasant experience. Chances are less, but still I'm just letting you know. So Uber, Ola as taxi apps. The other one is the private taxi options within the airport booths that you will have. The third one is local prepaid taxi options. Those are the three. When you're going around the city, most of the cities in India, you will have taxi, you will have auto rickshaws, what some of the Southeast Asian travelers call as tuk-tuks. So you will have a lot of, the tuk-tuks are locally called in India as auto rickshaw. Tuk-tuk is more of a Southeast Asian term. In India, it is known as auto rickshaws or autos or rickshaws. And then you have something like a bicycle rickshaws or a tricycle rickshaws. It's more of a, it's a two-seater, but basically it is manually cycled. The other thing that you have to be aware of, it's good to note in both in railway stations and at the airports, you will have touts. That goes without saying. It's there in every place wherever you travel globally. You will have local touts who will try to scam you, who will try to charge you a couple of $100 extra, who will say that, sir, please come with me. Be careful. I mean, at times they could be aggressive, but just ignore them. Plain and simple, the best way is that if you have decided on your taxi, if you have decided on your transport, if you already have pre-booked transport, or if you're booking one through the prepaid taxi or through the Uber or Ola, just ignore them. They will be very aggressive with you in certain cases, but the moment they see that you have decided upon your taxi option, they will just go away. Because they know that they are not going to get any business out of you. It would simply mean that you are much aware of what are the taxi options in a city where you are reaching, whether it be Jaipur, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Shimla, Delhi, Chandigarh, Bombay, Calcutta, Hyderabad. I'm just naming some cities randomly that people would visit. So they would leave you the moment they see that you are pretty aware of and you know what to do. There are police, there are local police officers who are very, very helpful. The airport officials are very helpful. They are not hand in glove with the local touts. Again, you could see some exceptions happening. It's not that I haven't seen exceptions happening, but again, we are not talking of exceptions. We are talking of the general experiences. Use your wit, use your at the moment cleverness to bypass those touts. That's the simple answer if you come across them. But yes, coming across touts in tourist spots, especially and in airports and in the railway station is common. They could be aggressive. They also be aware that simply you might feel that they would just come and take hold of your luggage. So just tell them that no, just clearly tell them no, as simple as that. They will come and try to take your luggage and they will try to pull your luggage towards their taxi. Just be very firm and say, no, thank you very much, that's it. If you are traveling alone or if you're traveling in group, this will happen. There is no rules of exceptions over here that if you're alone that there will be more touts following you, and if you're traveling in a group there will be lesser touts following you. Group or single, there are chances that it will happen. But once they see that your moral is decided and you're completely ignoring them, they will ignore you. You ignore them, they ignore you, because as simple as that. So Ola, Uber, prepaid taxis within the airport and outside the airport counters. Or do remember one thing, taxis in India the local taxis have a very standard color. It's usually yellow and black. Those two colors are combined, or mostly combined, or maybe one or two colors mixed up. But black and yellow are the standard colors for taxis in India. Again, you will have white and green. It differs from some cities to cities, but whenever you see yellow and black, that's like the local taxi. Conditions may not be, some taxis may not have a very spit and span thing, but it gets you from point A to point B. Some of the taxi drivers could be very helpful, could be very friendly once they realize that you're not from the place, or you're new to the country, or you're a tourist. Some of them could be very helpful. And then you will have the other set of people who will try to act smart. If point A to B is 10 kilometers, or if it takes you half an hour or 45 minutes, they will do an extra round. So just be smart and just tell them very clearly. So I thought that it could be useful. Taxi tips for if you're visiting India, things to be aware of. It's lesser of a stress. Mentally, you are a little free. You know exactly what to do. What are the things to expect? What are the things to be aware of? Hope this is helpful. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.